What should we do today?
Bye. Again.
What should we do today?
Bye.
What should we poop today?
And today I'm going to show you that I found this egg on the floor here, and it looks like a little chicken, and it looks like the chicks hatched, or it must have broke when it fell from a tree. So if it wasn't. Just a magnet.
We're finished now, aren't we?
Still like to talk.
Gently, remember. Do this one, do the white. Wrapped up, yes, please.
You doing? Oh, come on.
You find a seat and I'll hold you.
Why?
Here, get it.
Kilograms in here of some wheat-derived glucose syrup. Now that is a very important ingredient we all should know about, because if the glucose syrup we use in here is wheat-derived, it also means it's got gluten in it as well. So together then with just a little bit of water, most important for us would be that very high temperature. Sugar here is at 154 degrees Celsius, so it's very hot. Now we're ready to put in some other ingredients. So for today's sweets, we're going to be using a cup here of some dextrose powder. Because it gives you some natural brown food color, simply control-bent sugar, so that's got a taste of its own, that's caramel. And of course, a couple of ounces of our mint flavor. Now for these sweets, our first ingredients would be a little bit of some dextrose down here. Dextrose here is just another form of sugar. The special sugar, that's a special job for us, it soaks up a couple of ounces of our natural flavor. Now the reason for this is, if we try tipping the flavor directly on top of the sugar, we're going to have quite a bit of that flavor evaporating off the sugar, because the sugar is still very, very hot. And we want to lock as much of that flavor in the sugar as possible. A lot easier then to have the flavor soaked up by the powder. Simply stir the powder back again into the sugar. Now whilst Kevin's doing that, a bit here of this natural brown paste of caramel, and I'll also do the same down here. Also make sure I've got this stirred and soaked into the sugar properly. Otherwise, when it's time to pick the sugar up or time to play about with it very easily, we're going to end up staining our gloves or our bits of machinery. So this is it. These are actually all the ingredients we're going to be using here with us now. Help us make these natural Old English Hamburg sweets. Since we need in the sugar, all that we're left to do is to get the sugar to cool evenly. To do that, we need it to come away from the corners of our table. As we can see, sugar is already cooled down enough to start to keep it hold to its own shape. And as well as behaving like that, also peels off the table quite easily for us. And again, this is because before this demonstration, we soak the table up with a bit of some oil. Very carefully now, we'll continue by splitting the sugar into 2 bits. So from this point onwards, we also try or continue to work with these bits individually until we get close to making up these sweets. We're going to pick up both bits here, we'll stick them together, end up then with one very large Old English Hamburg sweet. But first, we need to get a runnier pass of the sugar to go back again down to the table. This also needs to cool. So effectively, we're just turning the sugar over, firmer pass of the sugar, pass that was touching the table first, here in our hands, so we're not burning ourselves. Warmer pass back again down to the table. We simply need the sugar here to cool for a bit. It's a very high temperature then, 154 degrees Celsius, but the temperature of the sugar on this table already has gone down quickly to somewhere around about 130 degrees. And this would mean very, very quickly the sugar is losing a lot of heat. Then again, this is only because of the table we're working on down here. This is a cold setting table, and we call this table the cold one because we've got very cold water that stays in the thickness of the table here. This cold water then chills the table for us, and the table here actively is working a bit like a fridge. In turn then now sugar made already, the bottom pass of our sugar again lose a lot more heat very quickly as compared to the top running pass, as we can see. So for us to get the sugar to cool nice and evenly, each time we pick the sugar up, we're going to try and fold it inwards. Coolest pass of the sugar, being the bottom parts here now, would go into the center of our folds. This way we are sure then, as the sugar cools, it cools nice and evenly. Very important now we don't end up having any hard or set piece of sugar in this boil. So sugar here, warm like it is, as you can imagine, in a state like it is here now, can be very, very sticky. This sugar has actually got a bad habit of getting stuck into our gloves or any cool bits of machinery it's going to come in contact with. So again, because of that, we've already coated everything in here with a bit of this powder. This is Italian towel. Italian towel, Slab, this is a food grade powder. So this powder is not like the towel powders we may have used in our homes. This here is specially designed for food use only. And again, it's the same powder we can see over a bits of machinery, even over the cloth here, so that's no sugar. And again, it's only to make it difficult to have the sugar stuck or set into everything in here. If the sugar starts to feel right, a bit like Play-Doh or plasticine, we'll get it off the table, work with it elsewhere. Now the reason for this is if the sugar is too runny, as you can imagine very easily, we're going to end up jamming or clogging the line up. On the other hand, leave this warm sugar on the table too long, both bits here will simply go into a solid state very quickly. We're going to be unable to have these sweets made. So very important part of the sweet making process. This is important. We get the sugar down to the next table. Next table down there is our hot table. Hot table there is only to keep that sugar nice and warm, nice and soft. Gives me in turn enough time to work about really with this larger piece down here. Because my larger piece here is going to need to go through the pulling machine down there. I need to have the sugar wrapped around a couple of the bars down here, and also need to have these bars moving around very, very quickly before plasticine in here. Now I did say we're making an Old English Hamburg sweets in here today. Hamburg sweets, as we may know, are normally stripy, and this would mean next now we're going to be making a load of stripes for this Hamburg sweet. To make some stripes, we're going to work alongside Kev down here on our hot table. I'm going to start by splitting my sugar into two bits. I need to get one bit to be around about the same size as Kev's bit down there. So I think that will do it. We leave this large sugar on the side for a moment or two. Very quickly, I'll knead my sugar in. Once we're left with a nice and soft little coating, don't want any creases in the sugar. That should do it. And I'm going to spread the sugar as well. A little wiggle should help us speed things along. There we go, even thickness. And we'll just simply continue by sticking them side by side together. So we've got one stripe made up now. To make those more stripes, we're going to need to split the sugar on this one stripe into two bits. And simply stick them up side by side together again. And because we're still working on our hot table here, sugar is kept nice and warm, nice and soft, sticks to each other easily. A good stretch out. Again. And we can repeat this process really as many times as we want to, but I think we've got one last cut to give us a full complement of stripes for this sweet. Very carefully, quite quickly, we'll flip the stripes over. We need a warmest pass of those stripes, so we're going to pass touching the table. Center piece, center of the stripes. We're going to be using these stripes now for a wrap, so literally corner to corner, end to end. Give the sugar a moment or two to bond back into each other again. I think that should do it. We'll just leave these stripes with Kept to down the size and edges for us. Now making us one very large Old English Hamburg sweet. So this last sweet now needs to be chopped up into around about 2,000 pieces, and to do that, to get 2,000 sweeties from this large one, needs to come in here, light sprinkling of a bit more of this talc powder. This is a batch rolling machine. So in here we've got 4 heated rollers keeping the sugar warm. It is still very, very important the sugar stays nice and warm, nice and soft until it finally gets shaped up into the sweets we need. So as well as keeping the sugar nice and warm, this machine has also now helped us get the sugar thin and shaped right down. Long pencil-like shape. We just need to get this tip down to be around about finger size. That's going to help us determine the sizes and shapes of the sweets to come. There we go, we got that tip now. I'm going to get this tip to go in here through a couple of sizing plates. Sizing plates here would grip the sugar. Continually feed and wet the sugar in here through our roster plastics, making sure we're not set in this guy. And we're good. Where the sugar that gets crimped, shaped and sized up. And as you can see, we're making up some sweets right now. So again, a 6 kilogram batch like we're working with today for this demonstration is going to be making us over 2,000 little sweeties. And down here in this machine, the roster blast, we've got ourselves a die. We've got different dies in our factory for the different shapes and sizes, depending on the sweets we need to make, and examples of some of the dies we use in this factory to help us shape up either one of our sweets.
He's got my third name.
Blaster's quite a bit, isn't it? That's who you're named after.
Your granddad.
That's why I chose that name.
So is that why you put Alan in my name?
After my granddad's named after my granddad.
Who's that granddad? Alan.
That's Daddy's granddad.
It says what it was as well.
That you know Nana Judy?
Yeah.
That's her dad.
It tells you it's is a driver. There's a few of them. It's different colours.
Pink, it's purple. Next one,
I think there's a light there.
there's not a purple, there is a blue.
Different colours. Oh,
There we go.
green, red.
You can know why the block is off, Dad. It's so
Green,
windy.
red, 11. Green, red, 11.
And that little waterfall.
Yeah.
Probably created for the thousands.
Dun, 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 dun. Get monks. One Theodore, one Alvin. One must be called Theodore and Alvin, but I can't remember the other one.
Simon.
What? Simon. They might be called Theodore, Simon and Alvin. I want to go on steps. I want to go on steps.
Oh, I could sit here and watch it all day.
Where was it?
In my bed.
I've told Sparkle about running away.
Good night, Emma.